It's just having the Fremont locals be together and just meeting new people, because I'm a social person, but I like to meet more people from Fremont, or the older generation from Fremont, and then the younger generation that lives here now. But I just like the local community just coming together and
Coming to you straight from Fremont, California, this is the Fremont Podcast, dedicated to telling the stories of the past and present of the people and places of the city of Fremont, one conversation at a time.
Hello, Fremont. This is Kevin, and we are in Centerville. You're listening to episode 58 of the Fremont Podcast.
Now, here's your host, Ricky B.
Wow, you have a lot going on here.
Yes,
okay.
I do.
All right, so introduce yourself, and then tell us a little bit about what 510 California Decor is.
Hi guys, so my name is Krysta. I am a Fremont local. I started 510 California Decor January 2019, so pre-pandemic, so a whole year before the pandemic started. I was just strictly online on Etsy, and I was doing really good. Once the holidays hit around September, October, my Etsy just went over the moon.
What were you selling on Etsy? What was it that you started out with?
So at that time, on that time I was starting out with just soap bars, creating soap bars, different scents, on zodiac candles, different scents for each zodiac. And then I also make beard care, so men's care as well. I
might need to get some of that. My beard is all over the place right now.
Yeah, I used to make a whole set, but now I just make the beard oil, which is my best seller. So I just kept going with that.
So you make all this in a big factory somewhere here in Fremont, right?
No, I make it in my home kitchen.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I live in Northgate neighborhood of Fremont, so I live in my family home. So I'm blessed to have a house to have a big enough kitchen and a separate room to have all my storage and everything.
What inspired you to do this? Why did you all of a sudden in the middle of 2019 decide I'm going to start making soaps, or I'm going to start making, different care?
I was a server for 5 years. Okay. So I was kind of tired of just having a schedule of having to be out till 2 a.m. Buffalo Wild Wings. Woo! Had to be there. I was honestly there till 4 a.m. sometimes because I was in the back kitchen.
Oh my goodness.
Being a server, I was there till about 2:30 in the morning.
The one right here at Pacific Commons?
I did. No, in Union City.
Oh, Union City.
Yeah, I opened the one in Union City.
Okay.
Back in 2012.
Okay.
No, 13.
Wow.
So I opened that one back in 2013 as a server. But yeah, I was tired of that. So I kind of quit serving, and I wanted to open my own business while going to school for being an interior designer. The first time I started this business, I was just a wedding stationery card designer for invitations, save the dates, whatever.
With that on Etsy, that's Etsy. How you started on Etsy.
Yeah, and then Instagram too. But then that wasn't really going for me, so I started creating more soap products and self-care products, just basic sugar scrubs, the candles, the zodiac candles to start out with, and then it evolved more to I focused more on skincare that's aloe vera gel based.
Okay. So what is it that you see as being the difference in what you make than what other people might find other places?
So I make 4 different products that are all infused with the aloe vera gel. I make a serum, a mist, a mask, and a sugar scrub. So that are all for my the aloe vera skincare. And then I also have a soap bar that is infused with bentonite clay, and it's a shea soap. It's good for moisturizing and then taking away the toxins in your skin. Okay. If you have tattoos, if you know somebody with tattoos, I have a tattoo balm that helps after the healing process. It helps it stay fresh and stay bright. And then I also have aromatherapy sprays that are good for helping you sleep, helping you have a headache. If you have stress, anxiety, everything's just organic and natural. Yeah. And unless you are unfortunately allergic to any of those natural products, my stuff's not for you. But if you're good with all that, it's moisturizing, it'll help your skin away from all these other store-bought products.
That's awesome. So I actually have used your products, and I have your candles, a couple of your candles. Use some of your bath balms. You have a bath balm? Is that?
I have bath salts.
Bath salts, bath salts,
soaps.
Yeah, so I gave those to my wife for Christmas actually, and we she loved them. It was great. They were fantastic. And the candles we've used at our house, Loved those as well. So really impressed with the work that you've done and the products that you make. That's really cool.
Thank you.
So yeah. So so you've got all these products. This is how you started 510 California Decor.
Yeah.
And then, but you do events, or you're a part of events. Is that right?
Yeah. So since 2021 or December 2019 was my first event at at a friend's house here in Newark, actually.
Okay.
And then unfortunately COVID came that March.
Right.
And then so I just stayed just online. And then once 2021 came, I started looking more into events because I saw this post about an event here at the local Newark Pavilion in Newark. So I did multiple events there at the Pavilion, multiple weekends, literally every single weekend through like the spring and summer and the winter of 2021. And then it carried on into 2022. I was doing events every single weekend.
Are you still doing that many events, or like how often right now are you involved in events?
Now in 2022, I kind of overdid myself with 2 to 3 in a weekend. Sometimes I did 2 in a day.
Wow.
Where I would do like one from like 10 a.m. till like 4, or I would have to leave early at like 3 to be there by 4 to have a night event from 5 to 9.
Wow.
But I don't do that anymore. I used to travel down to San Jose, I still travel to Vallejo and Benicia, but I'm staying local now in 2023 at the farmers market in Niles. I'm gonna try to get into that again.
That's awesome.
With the new association,
the Foragers Farmers Market. Yeah. If anybody hasn't seen it already, I'm hoping that we'll be able to feature that new farmers market on the podcast at some point in time. But starting in April is the Foragers Farmers Market. So there's going to be a kind of a whole new revamp of what's going on over there. So we're going to take something that's good and make it better.
Yes,
that's great.
Exactly. So I'm excited to get started with that.
Yep.
But
some of these events, so you're talking about events that you've been a part of, these markets that you go to, but you do your own events.
Yes, I do.
So when did it start? Why did you start your own events?
So I started hosting my own events actually a year ago this month in January. Actually, I think it was a couple months, like maybe November, December 2020 or 2019, but officially like January 2022, I started hosting events. It took me about 6 months in 2021 to find an actual space that would allow a craft market to happen. And finally I found the Century House and Gardens on Fremont Blvd. They allowed me to do these craft shows. They have been super successful. We had 5 last year, and we're planning on having 4 this year, plus the first collab event we're having with the vendor Crazy Life Crazy Life Freeze Dried Foods.
Okay.
So he and I are working together. We're great friends. He also has great products. Freeze dried candy. If you love that, look him up.
Wow. I'll have to check that out.
So so he's actually local to Union City, but he went to American as well.
Okay. Oh, so you went to American high school?
Yeah. I grew up here in Fremont. Went to Warwick, Thornton, and then American High School.
Awesome.
So
wow, that's
go
cool.
Eagles.
we just had somebody else on here, and they were like, "Go Vikings," because they were
that's
at
why
Irvington.
I did that.
Yeah, that's right.
On the way here, listen to that episode.
And you're like, "Oh,
I have to.
Got to give that shout out."
North and South Fremont.
That's great. Well, thank you for listening to the podcast, first of all. Secondly, thank you for representing Fremont. I love it. So is the kind of like the genesis of your doing your own events, hosting your own events, is that kind of like replace a lot of the events that you were attending then? I mean, because it seems to me, I mean, if you were doing that many events in 2022, like that's exhausting. That it seems exhausting just thinking about
trying to find them.
Yeah. Why, what was it that motivated you to do your own events? Was it just because you wanted something closer to home, or what was the deal with that?
So it is to be closer to home. Also attending all these different events in the South Bay, North Bay, East Bay, even the Peninsula, I started noticing there are hosts that just are not my type of people that I don't want to work with. So I just wanted to just do my own thing and just help the small businesses here in Fremont and also the local cities and counties as well, because even people from San Francisco come to the craft show here in Fremont to vend. So not only are there Fremont small businesses, but there's Bay Area small businesses at the craft show here that I host in Fremont. But yeah, I started doing it because I just wanted to do my own thing.
That's great.
And started to do it.
Yeah. We'll be right back. You can hear the rest of this conversation in just a moment.
Hello, Fremont. This is Andrew. I'm the editor here at the Fremont Podcast. This is something that's halfway between a story and, admittedly, an ad for the athletics department at Ohlone College. I don't like sports, and yet whenever my family drags me to a basketball game at Ohlone College, we have the best time. And so I'd like to promote the idea of going to the basketball games even if you don't like basketball. And here's why. Because one of the things that this podcast is trying to do, according to its founder and host, is to bring the people of Fremont closer together, to hopefully foster more community within the community. And I think these stupid, unimportant, silly basketball games at Ohlone College, where most of the time our team loses, does exactly that. Especially now when we are sort of coming out of the isolation brought on by the pandemic. I think perhaps we are in a phase of rediscovering our communities. And that's one of the things that I find at these basketball games. Look, they're fun. They're incredibly cheap, like $6 to get in. They only bring out one side of the bleachers, which means you are sitting next to the parents and the friends of the opposing team. And no one cares. Everyone's watching the game. Everyone's sneaking out to get snacks at the concession. Everyone's enjoying the music. When the other team makes an impressive play, credit where credit is due. When the Renegades do something great, you scream at the top of your lungs. Everyone's in the same place at the same time, basically doing the same thing. It's an unmediated experience. You're not on the screen, you're in the room. And that brings everybody together. And those kind of opportunities are important and kind of hard to find. So I wanted to tell you about that one. This episode of the podcast comes out on Friday, February 10th, and there's a home game tonight. Again, it's $6. It's at 7 o'clock. You can park in the giant parking garage and walk straight across. It's not possible to get lost. Look, if this sounds interesting and you want to go, but quite frankly, this is not enough notice for tonight, February 10th, their last game is next week, Friday the 17th. And both the women's and the men's team are having a home game. Women's basketball starts at 5 o'clock, and the men's game starts at 7. Pick the one you want to go to. You don't have to do both. And you can easily buy tickets online, OhloneAthletics.com. The name of the college and the word athletics, plural. OhloneAthletics.com. You can see the whole schedule there. The home team doesn't need to win, and you don't need to like sports in order to have a silly, fun, wonderful night that makes you feel more connected to Fremont and this community.
Dale Hardware is now ready to open their own pet center. Now you can get all of your pet supplies. You can get everything you need for your furry friends right at Dale Hardware. On top of that, Dale Hardware is the only hardware store in the country that has a destination center for Milwaukee tools. There are more Milwaukee tools under that roof than any other retail establishment in the country. Even with these big changes, the heart of Dale Hardware has not changed. So come on down to Dale Hardware and let a specialist help you find exactly what you're looking for with the type of care and attention that hasn't changed for over 65 years. Buying a home is a big decision. When I'm trying to make a big decision in my life, I turn to family. Family generally has my well-being in mind. They want the best for me. Whenever I visit Jennifer at Petrocelli Homes in Niles, she treats me like family. If you're in the process of buying or selling a home, turn to family. Turn to Petrocelli Homes. And now, back to our conversation. So, I have a collab event for June 17th, which is at Century House and Gardens. Mm-hmm. I also have, farmers market. Oh, there's a craft show. Is that the craft show is in April? Is that right?
Yeah, the April spring craft show.
Okay. And then you have farmers markets that are listed here as well. Niles Farmers Market. You've got Menlo Park Farmers Market. So if someone goes to your craft event or your craft fair, what do they expect to see? What can they find there?
So we're using the whole entire space. So when you're driving by Fremont Boulevard, you can't miss us.
Yeah, it's a big...
We're using the front yard, the front garden area. So there's food out there. We'll probably have a couple food trucks out there to bring your attention.
That's awesome.
Food vendors that have great homemade food, from barbecue to burgers to ethnic food, all types, seafood and stuff like that. And then there are all types of handmade craft vendors, from jewelry to crochet to different candles and self-care and all types of unique home decor and just all handmade.
How many of these vendors are like local to Fremont, would you say?
So there's about 45 vendors, 43 vendors, and I would say probably less than 10. So like not a lot of Fremont vendors, but there's a lot of Bay Area vendors.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
very cool.
Because I meet a lot of these vendors in different areas of the Bay Area, so they come and follow me.
Well, yeah, I think I like that because there's kind of a mix and match of both sides. One is creating space for local Fremont vendors to be able to to be able to sell what they're doing, but then on the flip side, being able to say we want Fremont to have a great selection of craft, crafters, product makers, and people that would be able to sell what they have here as well. I like that. It's cool. So do you find this, is this inspiring for you? You said you were an interior designer as well. So, as you think about doing interior design work and then you do this, what is it that is inspiring about doing this over say maybe a regular interior design job, corporate job sort of thing?
Well, I actually bring interior design and this business kind of with the craft shows together because we use the software that I actually use to create the map for my events. So I bring my interior design knowledge and education into my events. So all my vendors are like, oh my goodness, this is the most detailed vendor map I've ever seen.
Awesome.
I give them 3D render details. It's literally a floor plan, like a blueprint floor plan. So I kind of combine the two together. So I improved myself in my interior design aspect by not even doing work, just by doing, just creating the space for the events for vendors. So I spend just hours just on there, just meticulously, just
that's awesome.
Measurements and everything.
That's awesome. Is that more fun for you, or do you find that tedious work or exhausting work? I mean, I can imagine that if I were a vendor and I had a lot of questions about where I was supposed to be, what I'm supposed to do, what the event's like, and I saw a 3D map, I'd be like, whoa, this is awesome. Really kind of gives me a better understanding of what to expect. So is that, creating all those things, do you find it somewhat enjoyable, or is
yeah. I wouldn't continue to do the events in 2023 if I didn't find it enjoyable, because I was talking about stopping them in 2022 because I was just too much, but I ended up switching it and continue hosting, but then slowing down on attending the markets and just focusing on attending like bigger markets or just closer, like the farmers market in Niles.
That's great.
So,
well, I want to say too, we've had this small group of rising Fremontians that have put together local Fremont events as well. Like we did the Ugly Sweater party right before Christmas, and then we just recently had the Fremont birthday party, and you were at both of those, one as a vendor, and then the other one you came just as a guest. So, what is your take on that? Like, as you look at like the things that we're doing, as well as this down, kind of like the same trajectory that you're on, as far as like things that you want to be a part of and involved with. I know that after the birthday party, you said you wanted to be a part of the crew that helps organize future events as well.
Yeah, the offer was given, so I was like, oh, I'll tell them I'm interested in that. So
what about what we did as far as the parties and stuff? What about that do you like, and it kind of inspires you, or that makes you want to be a part of it?
It's just having the Fremont locals be together and just meeting new people, because I'm a social person, but I like to meet more people from Fremont, or the older generation from Fremont, and then the younger generation that lives here now and going to school for it, because I've been out of school for like 11 years, so it's changed since then. But I just like the local community just coming together, and with Fremont gear, and then the Fremont podcast. So Miles is awesome, but all three of us, and the clubhouse is awesome too. So the people that are there.
Well, I'm excited. I know that we're looking at planning some other events soon, and we want to make sure that they're great events. But I was excited to have you offer to be a part of the team that puts this all together, because when I look at somebody who's doing events and cares about how events are being done in Fremont or just wherever, I you were at the top of my list. And even though we hadn't spent much time talking or whatever, when I would follow you on Instagram, I would see all that you were doing, and I just thought you'd be a great partner to have in that group. So looking forward to having you be a part of that. Having grown up in Fremont, been here your whole life, is that right? Well, off and on, because but you grew up, your childhood and your school years you were here.
Up until 17, 18, and then we moved to by San Francisco, Pacifica for the last semesters of my high school years. But I still say I graduated from American high school. I don't talk about the other high school I went to.
There you go.
But and then I went to college in Hayward, but I also lived in Pleasanton, Antioch, and then just moved back into Fremont 4 years ago, and into my childhood home that my grandparents owned. That's
awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So having all of these things, having all of these experiences in these different other communities around the Bay Area, what is it that stands out to you about Fremont? What is it that you enjoy about Fremont that maybe is different and unique, special here, that maybe you didn't get at another community in the area?
Definitely the change and the mix of communities that are here. So definitely when I was in elementary school, junior high, I had a lot of different community friends and stuff like that. But as of now, the years are coming and going, and there's just growing and growing. And I love the community. We're just bringing them all together, and we're just building houses everywhere we can. Literally, this empty lot has been by my house my entire life. My mom has lived there, I've lived there, and now there's 20 homes that are there. So the community is just growing. Fremont's just growing.
And you enjoy that?
Yeah.
You like that? Cool.
Yeah, because it's more business for me. There's more business, and it's more people to see my product, and just to say that they live in Fremont, just to be proud of it.
Well, I think that's a good thing that you bring up in this, in the sense that we have, one of the things that I've heard as far as a complaint about Fremont is that we don't have enough good businesses, or we don't have enough experiences here for people to stay put and enjoy them right here in their own city. You travel outside of Fremont to go and enjoy certain certain activities or opportunities. But I think that for you, as somebody who grew up here, you take pride in being here. I like the fact that your name for your business is 510, right? Because that just kind of centers right down here in Fremont. But what you're doing is you're saying, I'm not just all about living here or protecting the space, but I actually want to bring life and community to the area where you live, which I think is pretty cool. Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
I want everyone in the Fremont household to have a candle of mine.
There you go. So I like that.
That's my goal, is every household in Fremont to have a candle.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that goal. That's really cool. So as you look forward into the future of the city of Fremont and in your business, what are some of the things that you dream of? What are some of the things that you anticipate?
Hopefully in the next few months, you will see a future retail storefront for 510 California Decor. I'm working on it. It's not a definite, we're put out good vibes for me, everybody.
Yeah.
But we're working on it. I'm trying to Fremont Hub.
Okay.
Looking over there.
Oh,
so
nice.
Hopefully we can open that in a few months by spring or summertime.
Okay.
So that's my goal for the year.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
Very good. Well, Krysta, thank you so much for being on the podcast. Thank you for listening to the podcast. Mm-hmm. I'm excited to be able to work with you, hopefully in the future here as we put together some events. And I'm excited to come over and see your craft show as well at the Century Gardens.
Definitely. It should be a good one.
Yeah. So if people were wanting to come and if people want to know more about what you're doing and they want to stay connected, what's the best way for people to do that?
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram. So it's at 510 California _decor. So 510 California _decor is my Instagram name. You can follow me. And then I have, if you're familiar with Instagram, the link in my bio has all the information for all the craft shows, and then the RSVP general admission. It's a free ticket for the spring craft show if you want to attend. 43 vendors we're going to have there.
Wow.
So
that's cool.
If you want to RSVP ASAP, go get your ticket at my the link in my bio on Instagram.
That's cool. And then we'll throw some of that stuff into the show notes here as well, so you can find them below. I was going to say that also, Krysta, if I'm not mistaken, you are going to be using Eventbrite for a number of your events as well. And I think that if you are on Eventbrite at all, you can follow her as a profile as well. And anytime she has an event, you'll be notified of that as well. So,
yes, the 510 California Decor has a Eventbrite business profile.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. Very good. Well, thank you for joining me. It's good to have you. Looking forward to seeing more of your stuff and working with you more in the future.
Thank you. I enjoyed today.
Awesome.
This episode was hosted and produced by Ricky B. I'm Gary Williams. Andrew Cavett is the editor. Music is provided through soundstripe.com. You can find links to our social media and other content at thefremontpodcast.com. Be sure to subscribe wherever it is that you listen so you don't miss an episode. And if you're so inclined, leave a kind review so that others can find the podcast. Join us next week on the Fremont Podcast.
This is a Muggins Media Podcast.